Hello guys and welcome back. So let's try to add a library into our system and see how we can easily incorporate it with our current solution. Okay, so I'm gonna use SFML in this case. Okay, so I'm gonna go there. Occasionally, right, you would probably just go ahead and download the actual stable version, right? You probably will go download the build binaries. However, in this case, we're gonna just grab the repository and add it as a submodule. That way we can see all the source code. Okay, it's as if that it's part of our solution, right? Instead of some library we download and just manually add it in. So here I'm gonna go ahead and get the directory in here. And then back here to command prompt. Okay, I'm gonna say git add git submodule add, and then here, and the directory will be underneath something we can call vendor, right? And then SFML, right? And then right in here, so you have to type in a space and period. Otherwise, it's gonna add it in another subdirectory called SFML. So when I hit enter, that's gonna copy the remote repository, right? This is a good thing. So whenever this library got new updates, we can pull them into our sub module, and then our system, our whole solution is already updated. That way we don't have to manually do another download and copy paste and whatever, right? So we're always up to date to the latest version of the library whenever we want. Okay, so this is actually a bit big than I want, and I think they are. Okay, but again, that's gonna download the thing, put it into the vendor folder there, right? It's kind of like downloading things, so I guess it's gonna take some time. Yeah, it's taking some time. Anyway, we can probably go keep on writing our CMake list. Okay, so basically after that, right, we can already start thinking about the library, right? So you can do a hashtag to add a comment. We can comment this as add sfml lib, and then all we have to do is add that subdirectory. So add subdirectory, okay, and then vendor sfml, right? So that's basically yes, it's in here now, right? Now this subdirectory will be another directory that has another cmake list.txt. It has to be the one that has that. Yeah, this is finished now, right? So this is not saying we're going to add this directory, and it has to actually be exactly a directory that has the cmake list.txt, and that's why we're kind of using cmake, because it's used by others, right? So we can a lot of libraries has that cmake list.txt, which means, hey, here, right, if we wanted to incorporate that library in our system, we can just add this subdirectory, and it's going to find the same file, right, and use it as part of the configuration of this. So basically, it's like we're copy pasting things from this folder, from this file into this file, right? It's like an include or something. Okay. All right. So everything they have set up on their project, we got it for free by just doing that. Okay. All right. So that's not enough though. If we add that subdirectories, let's actually take a look at what this thing does. So let's just save this and go ahead and run our CMake again. So I'm gonna go back here to my command prompts, and then see. Let's tap that in. CMake -b build. Okay. Okay, as rebuild it again, you can see now it's looking for a bunch of different things. It's building it again, right? So this time, if we go back to the new Visual Studio project we have built, actually I have it open already. You can see it's asking you to reload. Just click on reload, right? You can see now, not only that we have some previous CMake projects in our game project, but also we have all the project SFML have, right? That's just that one line of code includes everything defined in that CMake file, which is really nice. So we can basically grab any library if they have CMake, which a lot of them have. We can just add those things as submodule and add them as subdirectory in here in the CMake list.txt, and those projects will be built, will be added to our solution like that. Very convenient, and all their setup, right? Like if you go to properties and see their like output directories, their linkers, right? Their pre-processors, right? Those are all added very nicely, right? So you don't have to worry about anything. Okay, you can see their own like additional include directories, right? They all have their own setup, and they're all described in the file in here. So moving on from there though, we can, this is not gonna be enough, right? If you go ahead and take a look at what we can do with our game project here, right? We can't already do much, right? Even we try to just include these guys, right? As FML, something like, you know, maybe window.hpp, that wouldn't happen because our own project doesn't have the setup to include the headers from the others, right? So we have to define that. Unfortunately, that's not too hard. So we can just do target include directories, right? And then the target, of course, will be our project, right? Project name. And then the directories, okay? And in this case, we need to find where are these. So we can go to vendor and look at there. You can see the include folder is in here. So we can just copy that. Okay. Now back here, we can just say, right after the project, we can just say public, which means that whoever also references this project we're creating now will also automatically have those includes. We can also do private just to be, I guess, a little bit lesser verbose, lesser bloated. We can also do private, which means this is only going to be relevant to this current project we're trying to work on. Okay, oh, sorry, to this target we defined. So private, right? And then we can do then paste it in the directory, right? And we need to flip the backward slash to forward slash. Okay, and then we can have that. Okay, vendor there and include. Okay, now after that, this will allow us to have those includes basically. So I guess we can go step by step, right? So now we can just rebuild it again. Okay, now back here to our project, you can see it's asking for reload. So let me reload again. Now this time you can see the include is already working, right? If you go to the properties and look at our additional include directories, right, you can see now that's added. Alrighty, cool. So that fixed that include issue. So we have all the header files we ever need in the include directory. So after that, we need to also specify the library we need to link, right? So we can do target link libraries. Okay, again, the same target, which is $, project name, right? And here we need to specify what libraries we want to specify. We can have multiple lines. The libraries, though, you want to know what libraries do they have, of course, right? If they're following good naming conventions, should be all just these names, but they could be different, right? So one thing we can do is, of course, to take a look at the CMake file from the library, right? Which, let me go find the folder right in here, right? So what we can do is we can go to the CMake list file. I can probably also open that with our Visual Studio. Okay, and take a look. You can see now, well, that's the CMake file. You can see it's doing similar things, right? Minimum requirement and things like that. One thing we need to find is the libraries it actually creates. So we know that it's add library, right? It's not in there. So I guess it's actually include others. I guess it's also add subdirectories then. Subdirectory. Let's see. So it's subdirectory. So that should be calling that somewhere. Let me search again. Yeah, so you can see it's adding those subdirectories like that and that. Does that mean those projects, those library files might be in their own folders. So we need to dip deeper and take a look at that. Okay, so that's not it. We can maybe go to the source files and see what's in there. Right, that's the CMake listing here. Let's open that and take a look. Right, you can see that's when they add subdirectories for all those various libraries. So that's in there. Then let's take a look at the window, for example. Yeah, that's the actual CMake list for Windows, right? Yeah, that's it. You can see now that it's trying to gather all the files. You can also just write them down one by one. And then, yeah, let's search for add library, maybe. Yeah, add library. That's the actual library, right? And that's the actual library name. Okay, that's what you can do, right? To just search for, where are those libraries, and with that being confirmed, right? Let me just close that. I can go back to my previous CMake list and just paste that in, right? And of course, we can keep on adding if they're following good conventions. That I know that the audio ones should be audio, and then they have, of course, if you take a look at that, that's a lot. I need window audio, graphic maybe, right? And then network, if I'm using network. And then I believe you have the system. So that's all the 5 important libraries that's needed for this, right? So that's all the libraries they have: window, audio, and graphics, and network and system. I'm trying to match that. Oops, trying to match those names. So audio, window, graphics, system, and network. Yeah, that's all good. Okay, so that's going to be adding those libraries. Okay, all right. So that this means is trying to link with that. We're going to go ahead and try to run this again, right? With our command prompt. Okay, so let's try that again. Right, now back here we have to reload again. Now this time, right, of course, because they are linked, we can look at the linker here and take a look at the input. Okay, and go to maybe debug. You can see now that's adding the debug version of that, and then a release. It's adding the release version of that. So this is all good, right? This is having everything set up properly. Okay, very nice. So I'm gonna go back to all configurations. Alrighty, we can try to run this, right? And the compiler will start to build everything needed, right? Because we're depending on the whole library of SFML, everything here, right, inside of those projects, they're all being built and compiled together. Okay. This actually takes quite long because I guess, yeah. Because you were getting hello world printout, everything is fine. Okay. Now let's try to do something with this. Of course, we can do SF window, right? We can take a look at the constructor, window handle, SF video mode. I guess that's 800 by 600, and then constant context setting has a default one, so we don't need to specify anything, right? Doesn't know. Yeah, I need more things, I guess. Width, height. I guess you need to have something else. Yeah, that's the video. Okay, title. Test window. And then I guess the rest of the things are, yeah. So this also is something we can try, right? We can build this and you can see everything's fine. It's able to build it. But the instance when we run it, you can see, well, it's looking for the DLL, right? The dynamic link library. Okay, so which means, yeah, those things are built for dynamic linking. So if you go ahead and take a look at the properties and go to the general, you can see the configuration type is DLL, which is not good because then we have to get the DLLs copied over, right? We have to get those things copied over if we want that to happen. Okay. Of course, usually, right, if we're doing everything ourselves, we need to go to the build events and go to the post build event. We probably need to add some command line here to copy the things over. That part of the job can also be taken care of by CMake. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Okay, to do that, right, we need to add a custom command. Okay, of course, the target will also be our project, right? Project name. Okay, and then the command will be of the type post build. Okay, and then let's actually move that to the first line. Yeah, so after that we can then specify the actual command, right? And then to specify $CMake command. That's the command from CMake, and -e, and then copy directory, I guess. And we're copying the directory from one to another. We can specify those two directories. The first one will be because the output directory of those libraries. We can probably get that by looking through these guys. Let's take a look at let me rebuild that and see where it is. Yeah, so we can copy that directory and then say, okay, that's where it goes. Let me flip the things again, right? So that's where it goes, and then it's going to be based on the configuration type, so we have to pass in another variant here. That's the configuration, right? Configuration, because it could be in the debug configuration or release. They're going to be in different folders, so we need to have that to be a variable. So configuration, right? And then the destination will be $, and then target file directory, right, where we build our target file. And then that's also we need to specify which project's target file directory. In this case, is the project name. Okay, alrighty, and that should be it. That should be the command we need to add. Okay, so whenever we run CMake again, this of course will be applied to our project. So let's go ahead and try to run this one more time. Okay, right, now back here you can see it's asking for reload, so let's click on reload. Now it does nothing more than adding the command that we'll do manually if we do it ourselves. So if you go ahead and take a look at the debug mode, you can see where it's copying into, right? If you go to the release, you can see it's copying to a different folder. That's basically it. So that way the DLL files will be copied over to the build directory, and then if we run this again, right, it actually runs, no problem. The window just blinks because we need to set up into a while loop to have it open, but that's not the concern, right? This basically, it means that just with those setups, with these amount of lines of code, right, we're able to get all 5 libraries, not 5 projects, right, set up properly with our own project, list them in here, right, and also link them properly with our game project, right, and all those things, right, they're set up properly, and also because they're part of our solution, they're ours, right? We can make changes if we wanted to. We can also just pull new changes from other repository, right, from the origin, basically, right? Yeah, that's basically it. That's all the things I think that's worth mentioning when you're composing a project and use libraries from other locations, right? And of course, you can just get the library in yourself, download the binaries, but this, I think, is a more flexible way of composing a solution. All right, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.